Hi, I thought I'd make a video today. Really don't like this new phone. It isn't great, but anyway, the reason I'm making a video today with Mr. Dovii is because I have recently begun to feed him earthworms. Sorry about my fingers there. Trying to get this phone sorted. So I recently, introduced earthworms into his diet, just as a like once a week sort of a thing. There he is. He's hanging around the end there. He's growing too. Like I said when I first got him, he was 3 centimeters, and that I'd hoped in a year he'd be about 9-10 inches. Well, I'm 3 months off a year with him, and he's already like at least 10 inches. Here's a worm for him, and we can't even see him eat that. Damn it! Let me turn this other light off behind me. Hang on. I've just fed him a big earthworm. Will he spit it out? He's devouring it. So I literally just dug some earthworms out in my backyard, and I don't clean the worms. I mean, I get the dirt off them a bit, but I don't. I'm sure there's a way you can put them in something and they excrete everything in their system, like the dirt that they eat and whatnot, and the feces. But I don't. I believe that fish, when they eat a worm, these are earthworms, by the way. I can't remember what they're called, night crawlers perhaps. But I believe that when you feed a fish worms, sorry, I'm trying to pick up worms here, and here comes another worm. Actually, what I'll do, I'll try and drop the worms in a different spot so we can watch them eat them. Yeah, I believe that as the fish eat the worms, they excrete the excess muck from the worm through their gills anyway. If you've ever fed a cichlid fish an earthworm, you'd know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get this big worm and show you what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry, goodness me. This is the worst camera work ever. I'm still going to get this earthworm here. There you go. That's another big one. So I managed to get a couple of big worms today. He'll look after it. I got a couple of big worms out of the garden today. That's the other big one, and a lot of them I got quite little. He's just getting around, just sorting out how he wants to get a hold of it, and he's got it now. He'll eat it. He'll just keep crushing it up until it doesn't fight back so much, and hopefully he'll eat it. If he doesn't eat it, I'm going to be really disappointed. Last time I fed him worms was about a week ago, and he ate heaps. But, you know, he's not a huge fish yet, so these bigger worms, he still takes a little bit of time to eat those. Yeah. Where are we here? He's doing well. Also, just an update I probably haven't mentioned till now is that he had an eye injury several weeks back, and I treated him with Malefix. I used the Pond Strength Malefix that I purchased from a local pet store, and it's a lot more concentrated, and that fixed his eye. By the 7th day, his eye was 3/4 better looking, and then a week later, just from doing a nice water change and looking after him and that, it came good. So I guess, you know, there was probably some of the Malefix still left in the water, even though I did a decent water change, but it began the healing process, and it, you know, almost did it within the week. If he hadn't have healed completely, I would have done a repeat dose, but that wasn't necessary, so that was good. This is terrible lighting. I might have dug up too many worms today. I'm not sure. I'll pop one in here. He doesn't have as much trouble with this. Oh, okay. See, look, see what's happened then is I fed him the next one too early. So he was still trying to eat the big one. And I've dropped in another one. And that's made him spit one out because he didn't want to lose the other one. And in the process, he's spat them both out. Yeah, so what's he doing here? You can see that one on the bottom. He'll come back. I'm just going to back off on him in a minute. Just let him eat. This is a really terrible video. I've got bloody Facebook pinging behind me and shitty lighting, and it's all happening. But anyway, good news is he's definitely going to reach that size mark that I hoped he would within that time frame. He's already, I reckon at least, he's got to be 25 centimeters, no problem, I reckon now, which is 10 inches, could even be more. I don't know. I'd have to get the tape measure out and have a really good look at it, but he's definitely up there, so that's good. I'm happy. If the males grow to that 10 to 12 inch mark in the first year, I think that's probably what one would expect in a reasonably decent sized fish tank with good feeding and decent water changes, you know, possibly even bigger, but for me, I'm content with that. And by the end of 2 years, you know, I'd expect him to be 14 to 16 maybe. 3 years, he'd be getting close probably to that 18, 19 with any luck. But we'll see how things progress. He's on track at the moment. I'll just stop feeding for a minute because I know he's trying to eat that other big worm that I gave him, the second one. Tank's the same, nothing's changed, super boring. I pulled a lot of the gravel from that end and stuck it up further up there, as you can see, because I've discovered when I drop in sinking pellets that are really small, it's like he has trouble finding them in the gravel. So if they're just on the bare bottom glass, he can find them a lot more easily, and that's good. I want to show you another worm food feeding, but I can see he's still eating that worm, so you know, this is going to be a long process today for me. I might sit here for 20 minutes and feed him worms, but that's okay, because ideally I want him to have worms once a week. I feed him some krill occasionally, and sometimes I feed him some raw shelled prawn from the supermarket. I just break it into small pieces. Once he gets really big, I won't have to break them up so much, but yeah, but mostly I feed pellets as the main food. There's a couple there, and the protein one there, the brown one on the left, a couple of different Hikari ones there. There's some krill. I'm feeding the krill. He's wondering what I'm doing, so he's hanging around. Bloody computer reflection there. Yeah, I'm sure he's waiting for me to drop another worm in, but he's probably got one in his mouth. We'll do it anyway. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing when I'm not looking at the camera. Hang on a minute. We'll drop in another decent worm for him. There goes one. There he is. Now, see, that's what I mean. He's still got one in his mouth. But I won't feed him anymore now until I know he's eaten all those ones. The trouble with worms is, if you don't, if they don't eat them, what happens is, I'm trying to see if we can see it in the bottom there. Not really. I mean, it's in there. Where are we? There it is. Terrible vision, but they're there. Yeah, that's good. He's got that real wiggly one. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you feed your fish live earthworms, as I am now, and they don't get eaten, and they escape into the gravel, because they will, and they'll survive for a while. They can live under the water for a little while, worms. Don't know how long, but a lot longer than humans, that's for sure. But you don't want that to happen, because I would imagine that they could potentially cause a negative bacterial bloom if they're dead in the gravel and decaying, you know. So You want to make sure that your fish eats the worms. All the worms that you put in your tank goes for any food, I think, but especially live food, even worms, fish and stuff even more so, but even earthworms, you don't want them left in your tank. Anyway, I think we should cut it there. This is like already about 10 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to try and do a better video once it hits the 12-month mark, and that'll be an update on the size and progression of him. Alright guys, sorry about the really terrible quality of this. I make this for myself as much as I do for everyone else, but I love looking back on them and just watching the progression of how my fish grow up and change and things. Alright, well, lovely. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.